it'll be good to have him back as well. Listen, I called her a hero. I mean it. I've never met you before. This is the first time I have met personally Lawanna Gelzer. And the reason I call her a hero is because, as most of you know, I teach government, and I am a professor of political science at Valencia College. I teach media classes over at the University of Central Florida, and I've covered government my whole life. So a hero to me is somebody who doesn't just go around griping about things when government's not working or when government believes that we are the servants of government as opposed to the other way around. It's somebody who understands the process. And Lawanna, one thing that really caught my ear was when I researched a lot of these topics, I kept hearing your voice, meaning that you were going to budget hearings, you were going to planning workshops, and a lot of people are out there going, what are those? Well, what in the world are those? Those are very important because that's the pipeline to when you get to a council meeting and the city council says, well, I'm sorry. I mean, we've had all these meetings. If you wanted your input, you should have been there. So good morning. Pull up the rocking chair on the 50,000-watt front porch and settle back.
Good morning.
And thank you for being such a positive community activist, not just for Paramore, but for all of this area.
Well, thank you. What a great compliment this morning.
Well, you're a resident of Paramore, so that gives you even more.
I'm no longer living, but I still have my business of 36 years in Paramore. I decided that I could no longer invest in Paramore that way when it came to purchasing a home because I saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
But I'm there every day. My family's there, and we still have 2 homes in that community.
Wonderful,
yes.
Wonderful. And so you're a business owner. You have a vested interest. It's your community.
It's my community. It's the community that brought my family to Orlando in 1971. So we've seen the changes. My father came from the Cape. And then we moved here for Disney, and we moved to Paramore and built a home in Paramore in 1971. So truly, we've invested a lot of time in the Paramore community.
What is the state of Paramore today?
Blight. It's just pathetic what has transpired to Paramore. We used to have 25,000 people living in the Paramore community when we first moved there. We're down to 6,000. Not 6,300, 6,000, because the proposed community school, we've lost more people. We've seen houses after houses, families after families forced out. And people say, well, that's a good thing. That's about economic growth.
No.
But they don't understand that we're not getting the proper value for our land. The most valuable thing that Paramore has is the land and its location. And so when the city purchased anything from us, $15,700, $15,850 was the last 2 prices of 2012 when the city purchased homes in Paramore. That's what the families received.
And then you see these vacant lots where parks are supposed to spring up. 10 years have gone by, still weeds there. You look at the first arena that's come down, and it was supposed to go back to the citizens of Paramore, and yet I don't know anyone who could afford to go into that new village.
Well, that's gentrification, is it not? Create a village, and that's what our first fight was started on. We've been fighting for quite some time to get unkept promises, but when we heard about Create a Village and we lost $93 million when the mayor blew it up, that was $93 million blown up because it's never been replaced.
And isn't it funny that your buddy, my buddy, our buddy, Buddy Dyer, mayor of Orlando, I thought he made the national news. Yaffe remembers this. He made the national news because he was going to recycle and dismantle the original arena, and he was just praised for being such a green mayor. You've had some dealings with Buddy Dyer. We're going to talk about a black church that has been eminent domain. They are starting to build the soccer stadium around it. Before we go to traffic and weather, what is your view of Buddy Dyer? Is he a friend of Paramore?
Absolutely not. He's a friend to corporate welfare. His friends are not our friends. And he continues to make sure that he takes care of them off the backs of the people in the community and surrounding areas. No one is benefiting from this intimate domain that's transpired. The church, no one's benefiting from the new arena but the Magic, but the proposed soccer team owners and stuff like that. The community has not benefited one dime. Don't believe the hype type, as they say, we can read and we can see, and we're sick and tired of his lies. So no, he's not my friend, because his work and what he has said is actually completely opposite of each other, because he wants us gone, and he does not want any resistance. And
we're going to talk about Tinkerfield. We're going to talk about the black church that's been eminent domain. But first, we're going to help you on your morning commute. It is 7:12, time for traffic and weather together on the twos.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's
the Budman. Budman.
with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men.
Budman.
Fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.
News Radio 102.5 WFLA.
Mark Logan's filling in for Bud Hedinger today, and a very special guest with us, Lawanna Gelzer, who is a community activist from Paramore. She is also, you're running for the Orange County Commission, District 6, right? Tiffany Moore Russell's seat.
that's correct.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
correct.
Well, and I don't think there's anyone more qualified to step up to the plate because you understand the whole budget process and workshops and hearings and things like that. And we're talking about the Orlando City Council. And is it my imagination? It just seems for me it seems to be getting harder to see you. I know you go into these council meetings and you're addressing the council, but it seems that your video, or are you being edited out? Have the rules changed? What's going on there where I'm not seeing as much of you, even though you're there as often as you were before?
I'm there, but the mayor of Dyer, Buddy Dyer, changed the process. So if you appear under general appearance, you're not being viewed by the rest of the city. You have to get a copy and post it yourself.
But that's a part of the meeting. It's part of the agenda.
I totally agree, but that's why he don't want people to think that he's being questioned. The only time you can see me if I'm talking about an issue that's under the hearings. Even the consent agenda, I must go at 10 o'clock in the morning and listen to them and then talk about the consent agenda, but you don't view that. You don't get to see it. So a lot of time that's people not thinking that we're there, but we are there questioning them and saying things about it, but that's the way he does his business.
Yeah.
He doesn't want people to know he's being questioned.
My students have to go to a city council meeting, I don't care what city it is, and a county commission meeting, I don't care what county it is. And that's the feedback I usually get. They're very surprised because most of them will watch a city council meeting or something like that before going so they know what to expect, what they think they're going to expect. But when they actually physically get there, they go, wow, that meeting's a lot different than what we're seeing, through digital technology. It's very interesting. Now, you mentioned gentrification, and Paramore just seems to be so safe these days, though.
It really is.
I mean,
safe for who?
let me back up. 1 block radius around the new arena. It's quite safe, right? I mean, they've got security cameras, so if you go to the arena for a venue, you're going to be well protected within that one little area around the new arena. But beyond that, how safe? You own a business there. You've been there since 1971. How safe is Paramore these days?
Paramore can be safe, but the bottom line is all money that's earmarked for Paramore is earmarked for what Buddy designate. So the arena comes first. We are still waiting for the dollars that they receive as far as our demographics to increase the police protection and cameras and stuff. We've been waiting for cameras for almost 10 years since he's been in office. The bottom line is he makes promise when he runs for office. He makes promise when he do his press conference. But when you check behind him, it's all lies. I don't know what else to say. He's been lying to the public.
In 60 seconds, we're going to play some sound bites from a city council woman and the mayor himself. I want to get your thoughts about what you hear. But first, we're helping you get to where you're going safely. It's 7:22 and time for traffic and weather together